Good morning. Today we are down the unit. Little interesting one. So every now and then I get asked, I want an aluminum ECU kit for my CVH, and I say to people, buy the Zetec ST170 loom, mod it, it'll fit. Oh, how do I do that? So today we're going to show you how to do that. We've got this really nice Escort Turbo. The guy's owned it for, what did he say, 10 years or something, didn't he?
More than that.
Yeah, more than 10 years he's owned this car. It's an Escort Turbo, genuine Escort Turbo. Very nice, quite clean. He's had it painted. It's got a Fiesta Turbo EFI engine in it, which makes our life a lot easier. It's on an Escort T3. Apparently it was rebuilt a number of years ago. It's running an ofab ECU. We're just getting into it at the moment. It's got like a late Escort loom in it. So the ofab ECU is down in the footwell and it runs all through the fuse box. We're going to basically try and fit, well, we're not going to try, we are going to fit a MaxxECU Mini and Zetec loom kit. We're going to try and make it look as nice as we can. Ollie's pulled the glove box out so we can try and find somewhere nice to route it. Pulled all the relays down, we found the fuel pump relay and things like that. So yeah, we're just getting into it as we go. The guy doesn't want loads of power, he just wants it reliable. He said it was ofab with a chip, 195 chip, old school conversion. And he said when he was driving it, if he poodled around, it was absolutely fine. He said as soon as he booted it, it ran hot. So he didn't trust basically booting it. He said he unplugged the chip and it ran a lot better, which isn't ideal with obviously beige injectors. And he said he poodled it around like that for a while and then it's just been laid up for a number of years. So the aim of the game is to get a MaxxECU Mini ECU fitted, up and running on this. Might clean the injectors out and we're going to get it all mapped on beige injectors and an Escort T3. Just try and make it a nicer car for him. So yeah, what we're doing so far, pulling it all out. We've got bits of it all stripped off, took the top of the inlet off and stuff like that. Just because we want to get to the coolant temp sensor down here, because we're going to upgrade that, change that to a Bosch style one rather than use the OEM one. I'm going to put a more modern air temp sensor on it. I'm going to fit some boost control. Decided we're also going to do, here's the ECU here. Look, it's quite funny to see that the ECU is pretty much the same size as the map sensor. And this has got the map sensor built in. Be nice to mount that. We could mount this where the map sensor sits. That'd be funny. Now we're going to put that inside the car. We're also going to fit a CAN Lambda module so we can run closed loop fueling and stuff like that. So yeah, Ollie's been busy. He's just pulled it all apart. He wants switchable maps as well, but we might do different boost control levels rather than switchable maps. All electronic, of course. Right, I think we should just get into it, eh? Yeah. Also, there's a great big hole here, which someone has kindly cut, which isn't ideal. We didn't do this. We're going to try and make that look a little bit nicer, because it's a bit big, that, isn't it, mate? Yeah. Right, let's crack on.
EVT or oil was the boost control?
Yeah. We can use the VVT output as boost control, because that's literally just 12 volts.
Yeah. And
a GPO, so we can do that. Oil's just a digital input; it's not an output.
Oh, right. Cool.
But yeah, we can do that if needed.
Yeah.
See how it pans out. Ollie's been laying it all out and plugging it in. Look, he's plugged the loom into the injectors. He's plugged the crank sensor in. That sort of gauged us where it was all going to sit. Earth's on. He bolted the earth on as well.
Yep.
There's another earth there, you know.
Yeah, they'll reach.
Oh, didn't it? Oh, we'll find another place for that.
Else,
There's two little holes screwed up here on the air box, and that was for the OEM map sensor that I just showed you. So I've nicked the bracket off of it, unbolted the map sensor, and I'm going to mount the ignition driver to it. I've already put the so when you get these ignition drivers, they come with a little squeezy wedge of thermal paste that you need to put on the back, because ignition drivers have a tendency to get warm. So when they get warm, they disperse heat through that metal plate at the back. So bolting it to this is going to be like a big heat sink. I've just drilled 2 new holes in it. I'm going to send these self tappers through there, chop the back off, be all nice and neat, and then it can bolt under the bonnet. Look a little bit more OEM, isn't it, Ollie? Yeah, it's going to look nice. And this is why I don't like ignition drivers built into the ECU. Because if they burn out, you can just change that. It's like 30 quid. this burns out, you have to change this. This is like 600 quid. Ollie's jacking it up because we want to drain the coolant out of it so we can change the coolant temp sensor. We probably could use that coolant temp sensor, but it's a little bit old hat now, and if you're going to be fitting a new ECU, you want something a little bit more up to date and a bit more modern, a bit more reliable. So I'm going to use a Bosch sensor. Screwed the bracket back on. Look, a bit of thermal paste on it, and that's all right. The ignition driver's under there. Still got to tidy it up. Little wire down there. I don't like drilling holes in the bodywork. It doesn't sit well with me. So I drilled a little hole in the side of the brake booster bracket. You can't really see it. And I use that as a ground. So I've grounded it to the bracket for the brake booster. Because if ever you want to rip it off and put it back to standard, you can unbolt that bracket and replace it rather than a hole in the bulkhead like this. As annoying as this hole is, it has been a lot easier to feed the loom through, but I think,
what do you mean?
Yeah, we're going to do something with that. It doesn't sit well with me. I want to make that look a bit more watertight. Right. So we're just trying to work things out as we go. It's a little bit messy under here, so we're going to have a little tidy up. There's that big hole from the other side, look. Oh, you know what, Ollie? We could just bang a plate on it from this side. And because then it'll look a lot neater out there, especially as we can get to it. I'm going to make an addy plate for that, and then drill a big hole in it to put my grommet in, just to make it a lot nicer. We're going to try and put the ECU maybe up there, maybe in the glove box, don't know yet. This is the OEM loom, which is really nice. I love this old school stuff, look. Nothing crazy going on in there, all nice and simple. I've gone over, I've pulled this wire out, well I haven't pulled it out, I've found this wire in the back of the plug. It's a brown with a white tracer, and I've pulled the fuel pump relay out, run my multimeter in, and now when I pin into it, it beeps. So I know that that wire is the fuel pump trigger. So I'm basically, because we're going to unplug the OEM ECU, leave it unplugged, we can just hide this loom up. I'm going to get one of the GPO wires, which are the green wires. GPO stands for General Purpose Output. So I'm going to get one of the general purpose outputs, connect it to that wire, and then design it in the ECU as a fuel pump trigger. That way the MaxxECU will control the fuel pump. So yeah, let's crack on. So I've stripped the cowling off around here because I want to dig into the wiring to try and find a nice good ignition live. Someone has been at this, obviously, as most cars from the 80s nowadays. I'm not too impressed with all that, so I'm going to chop out all these crimps and try and make this a little bit nicer, and try and find myself a nice ignition live in the process. So yeah, that's going to be fun, isn't it? Ooh, turn my torch off. I haven't got a socket. We want to unscrew the coolant temperature sensor from down the back of the inlet. He's obviously popped that off, and Ollie's trying to unscrew that, but we haven't got a deep socket, so he's took it upon himself. He's found a socket in my scrap socket drawer, and he's cutting it down to make a homemade spanner. So I've got a feeling there's going to be some MIG welding happening soon. Yes. So yeah, rather than go and pick up a socket, just make a tool.
We've got tools to make tools.
Exactly, got tools to make tools. If you've got tools, you can make tools. So yeah, I'm playing around with the wiring down here. I'm going to stick the battery back on, just to have a little pin out. Ollie's making a tool. It's getting there, it is getting there. Lovely old job. So Ollie, what did you do?
Cut a socket up.
Oh yeah, cut a socket up to make a tool.
Yeah.
Tell the people what kind of socket you cut up.
Wrong size.
You cut up the wrong size socket, and then tried to make a tool and got really confused why it wouldn't fit. It turns out the socket you chopped doesn't fit anyway. So you're trying again?
Yeah.
Yeah, with another socket.
Yeah.
Halfords, bro.
Lucky they're all
All
sockets
scrap
we don't
sockets.
use.
I'm still tidying up the wiring. Just running a feed over there. We've quickly just temporary wired up the fuel pump trigger. We want to see if it runs first, don't we? If it runs, then we can tidy it all up, make it look a lot nicer.
Make
so
it
yeah,
look pretty.
Yeah. Oh, we've been busy. We ended up removing the inlet manifold. Why? Because we helicooled out that bottom bolt, bottom coolant temp hole and stuck in our Bosch water temp sensor. Helical's a bit long, but it's alright, it's not going nowhere, it's stainless steel, so yeah, it needs to get a new gasket, annoyingly, but still, nice modern temp sensor in there now. There's also some of the bolts were wrong in the inlet manifold, and Ollie's adamant I've got some in my my drawer of doom. You know, you get one of them drawers that you just fill it with as many random bolts because you can't face throwing them. And he's sure he's seen one floating around in there. So yeah, nice modern water temp sensor in there now. The water galleries are a bit fluffed up, which I hope that isn't going to have any effect on why it might be getting warm. It doesn't look bad down there, but we're going to give it some fresh antifreeze anyway, so we'll keep an eye on it, see how it goes. You got the bolt stuck, have you? It's going back together. Obviously my loom comes with a water temp plug that looks like this, which plugs straight into the blacktop Z-Tech. Obviously there's plenty of length, so we cut it back, changed it to an EV1 connector, crimped it and all lovely. And that's nice and short, so we're just going to need to route that down the back. Clip that onto the coolant temp sensor. We're going to change this air temp sensor. Because this standard one is like a closed tip style sensor, and they're a little bit slow, but that adapter is at M12 by 1.5. Yeah. So the standard sensor is M12 by 1.5, and the air temp sensor that I brought down with me to retrofit to it was the same as this. This is M14 by 1.5, so that don't fit. So save trying to do what we've done with the coolant temp sensor on the inlet manifold. We're just going to leave that sensor in for now, and I'll bring down the right one and we can swap it over. We're making a little list. Got some bits we need to order, but it's getting there. Hopefully we'll get it running today. That's the aim of the game, isn't it? If we can get it running and driving. So yeah, let's crack on. Oh, it's getting close. We've just plugged it all in. It's all a right mess at the moment. Look, see, mess. What did we do? What have I done? Why did I start filming? Oh, we changed the throttle position plug to a Bosch 3-pin style, which is obviously the Fiesta Turbo one, which is handy. I couldn't get it. I was trying to just push the pins on the TPS, but I couldn't do it with the throttle body fitted, so Ollie popped the throttle body off for me. Just bolted that back up, plugged the TPS in. I've just gone over, banged a Z-Tech map on it for now. Scaled the fuel injectors and stuff like that. We're going to plug the coil in a minute, see if it'll run. Oh yeah, it's getting close. If we can make it run, then we can start tidying it all up. So, you bolted up?
Just looking for a screwdriver.
Alright, Ollie's just putting the throttle cable bracket on, or putting the throttle cable in I should say. I've just gone over some of the settings. Like I've just said, set the fuel injector size. I've just configured the outputs. So on the output configuration, GPO1 is now fuel pump relay. So when I click on the test button, I can hear the relay clicking down by my foot, and I can hear the fuel pump. So that's always handy. I haven't designed anything else because nothing else is connected yet, just one step at a time. We're going to go for the first start. Air temp sensor is about 12.7 degrees. Coolant temp sensor is about 12 degrees, which is about right. It's freezing outside today. I've just noticed Ollie's left the door open, letting all my heat out. Oh, we've got the heater on in here, so it's quite nice and toasty in here. Makes it a nicer place to work. Oh, excuse me. What I am
keeping you up.
Oh mate, I'm knackered. I need an early night tonight. I'm going to disable some of the digital inputs because this is a base map off my van. I've gone for no direct function. Actually, that can stay. I've gone for a Z-Tech base map because I know it'll work, and they're a 36:1 trigger wheel with the same offset as a CVH. So the only connectors we've really changed to make this Z-Tech loom work is the throttle position sensor from a Z-Tech style to a Bosch 3-pin. We've changed the coolant temperature sensor, and we've changed the sensor and the connector to an EV1 style. And what else have we changed? About it, isn't it? air temp plugs in, core pack plugged in, crank sensor plugged in. That was it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You done that yet? Can I try and start it?
2 seconds.
2 seconds, boss man. I've got no lambda control connected yet. If we can get it running, then we'll tidy it up. Maybe stick it on the ramp, drill a hole in the exhaust, weld a bung on, and then we can add the lambda control. Then we can tune it. That'd be fun. Just playing the waiting game. Done? Oh look, I've got throttle position now. Hang on, let me calibrate that. Inputs, nope, sensors. Throttle position sensor, close voltage, get voltage. Full throttle, hold it full throttle and get voltage. There we go. We now have 0 to 100%. Perfect. Right, can I try?
Yeah.
You watching?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, mate. Simple as that. That's why I like MaxxECU. Never ever fails to start, mate. I don't know what the air fuel ratio is, but it runs, doesn't it? It did. What was the warning? Oh. Guess what the warning was, Ollie? Nope, low oil pressure cut protection. We haven't got an oil pressure sensor connected, have we? I'll have to turn it off. I forgot that was in the base map. Good to know it works though. Yeah. Didn't see oil pressure, so turn the engine off. Right, I'm going to play around with a few more settings. Turn that off because we haven't got oil pressure, and do a bit of fettling. Let's crack on. Oh, she's idling low, boys. You know what we do need to do? Connect the tack output. Look at that. Not even configured the idle control valve yet. I think we should crack on and tidy it up. You need to stand up. Right, what we whoa.
We're at 6.
Wait, right, let's what, down?
You need to go down.
What, on the adjustment?
Yeah.
Hang on. There?
No more.
More?
It's not moving. No.
What do you mean it's not moving?
Oh yeah, it's no, bit more.
What, down?
Yeah.
It obviously doesn't need as much
Go
juice.
up a little bit more.
Up?
Touch more. There you go.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right, you want 7.
Table.
You need to, yeah, you just add to the end of the table. Look, and insert row or column. I think it's that. Before, after. Bosh, 7,000, boss. So now we go output 7,000 RPM. Boom.
Not very far off. Needs
Hang,
a little bit more.
What, more?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can add to it.
A bit more. Oh, too far.
Shit.
Where you
Probably,
going?
you don't really like rhythms. What, down or up?
Down.
More?
Down more, yeah. Oh, a bit more. Nope, too much.
That's about the limit. I don't think it's ever going to rev to 7,000.
Why not? It's a CVH. You got to rev it till the tappets come out, ain't you?
Look how weird that table is, look.
That is very weird.
You know why? Because it's a worn... Right, so what we're doing, we're tuning, we're mapping the rev counter. Yeah, so as you can see, turn the lights on. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they're great.
So as you can see, we're at 7,000 RPM and we're currently tuning it at 7,000 RPM. So basically, where this clock's worn and it's like 30, 40 years old, it's not a continuous sweep that you would think. So what we're doing is we've got the tack output in test mode and we're just banging in different RPMs. And then we'll say, if I bang in now, say 4,000 RPM into the test mode, we now go to that point in the test mode and we've fine-tuned it to 4,000 RPM. So now the rev counter is going to be accurate to the car. So most ECUs, they just throw an output out and, you know, if the rev counter is accurate, it's accurate. And if it is, it is, and if it ain't, it ain't. With the MaxxECU, we've literally fine-tuned every RPM so that the RPM on his gauge matches the ECU perfectly. So for instance, if we go down here, we can now set this to 1000 RPM, enter, and that should now sit at 1000 RPM. Look at that. But look at the, I don't know where you can see it, but look how much offset there is. So at 1000 RPM, there's no adjustment. 2000, it's 12, what is that? Oh, 12% out. At 3000, it's 8% out. At 4000, it's 24% out. So we had to proper chuck some duty in different RPMs. So look, if I now go 2000 RPM, take me to that point on the table, 2000, and we're at 2000 RPM. Beautiful. Oh, tell you what, so if I take it out of test mode now and just enabled attack, we can do, yes, enabled, within a 1.5 activation delay. What does that mean? Let's just try enable. Turn the ignition on and off and it should do a gauge sweep. Oh, Ollie. Let's try these other ones. What does that mean? Within a 1.5 second activation delay. Sweep it now. Oh, right, so it waits 1.5 seconds and then it sweeps it. So if we up that to 5-second delay, why would you need that? All right, ignition off.
You can count.
Ignition on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why? Fine. I mean, it's nice to have it. I mean, why wouldn't you want it? I don't think we'll set it for that. We'll set it just to should we just do 1.5?
Yeah.
Why has that one got 2 3-second delay? Oh no, it's just that one. Yeah, 1.5, 3 and 3 seconds. Right, we'll leave it on that. Go on.
What's the difference?
With what?
RPM. It says rev limiter. No, the one below.
Sweep RPM type, current rev limiter. Oh right, so it's basically gonna. Oh right, yeah. So you can rev sweep
like
to 3,400. Yeah, we're gonna sweep the RPM to 3,400. Huh. That's weird. So actually, we're better off leaving it. So you know what your rev limiter is. There you go, current rev limiter. Oh Jesus, telling me that now. Limits, rev limiter. This is a CVH after all. We'll start at 6,000 RPM for now. So now, if you do it on and off, it should only sweep to 6,000, right? Oh, mate, that's bang on that, isn't it? Ollie, I think we've nailed
the rev counter.
We've nailed the rev counter.
It's taking longer to do the rev counter than it has to wire the car, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we're like 5 hours into fitting the engine loom and 5 hours into getting our rev counter to work. Because it's a late Escort loom. Hence why, like, you know, the Fiesta Turbo ECUs, when you convert these, normally sit up there. But on this, it's plumbed into the loom and it sits down here in the footwell, like behind the console, isn't it? So, oh, mate. Should we put the rest of the car back together now we know it works?
Maybe.
Look at the state of it in here. Right, we've nailed that. Cool, let's crack on. It's back together, look. Looks like an Escort Turbo again. Look at these retro, the Tim Turbo gauges. Do you remember these?
Yeah.
There's always that one guy down the pub. Oh yeah, it goes past 2 bar, mate. Yeah, for about 10 minutes. I don't know whether I like them though. I don't know whether they should stay or go. What would look nice is get rid of that electric. I'd like keep the turbo gauge, I like that, but get rid of this Tim water temp gauge. Stick a little can check gauge in there, connect that to the ECU, and then it can see everything the ECU can see. I might ring him up, have a word, see what he reckons. Still got a bit to do. We're just having a little tidy up. We haven't finalised it. We still got to tidy it up under the bonnet and try and block that hole up a bit. But it's looking a lot nicer. Dash is back in. Ollie's just screwing the glove box back in. We've put all the clocks back in. We spent about 4 hours mapping the rev counter. Oh, so under the bonnet, we still want to do. Still, like, you know, there's a lot. So this is for the CAN Lambda module. I've wedged that in there quite well. Not that you can see. My lighting is terrible here. But all the loom just needs like cable tying back and just tidying up. We still need to map the idle control valve. Oh yeah, my wiring looms. They come with VVT wire for when you connect them up to an SD170. but obviously because this hasn't got variable valve timing, that plug we've plugged straight into the idle control valve, because all it is 12 volts and a GPO, general purpose output. So we're going to use that to control the idle valve for a little bit better cold start. Not that it needs it. I mean, we haven't even activated it yet, and it starts and idles absolutely fine on a base map, just on my ZTEP map. So it's getting there. The ignition driver's all nicely bolted there to its little heat sink. We need to tidy up all this. Yeah, oh, I still need to get that air temp sensor, reminds me. You done? I can start it, can't I? Yeah. Make sure it works.
Yeah.
Put some lights on. They don't really light up.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't crank then. I was like, oh yeah, it's got an alarm. Oh no, here we go. There we go. Considering it's not mapped, a bit of a miss then, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's cleared up.
Map delete.
Do you know what you're looking at, mate?
Yeah, laptop.
Do do do. Woo. Oh yeah. Very nice. Right, we're gonna crack on. In fact, no, we're gonna crack on. Morning. We're down the unit again today. Can't quite remember where I left off, so I'm just going to carry on waffling as I always do. Got the Escort on the dyno. What happened? Oh, I know. So I stuck it on the dyno, dialed in all the load down, started doing a bit of mapping, all going really, really well. Tried to do a power run, brought it on boost, and it was hitting boost cut. I had boost cut set fairly low, like 11-12 psi, so I was like, okay, you know, we'll raise it a bit. So I raised it a bit, done another power run, hit boost cut. So, okay, fueling was all right. Done another power run, boost cut, kept raising it. In the end, I was hitting boost cut at like 19 psi. I was like, there's something not right here. I was like, I need to have a look at this. So I put a pressure gauge on the actuator, fed it with air from my compressor here in the dyno, and it was basically starting to open at like 21-22 psi. So I said to the customer, I was like, you've got a real strong actuator on this. I pinged the arm off the wastegate arm, tried running it up or pressurizing it like that, and it weren't over tightened. In fact, it was a bit loose, and it was still opening at like 21-22 psi. So I said to the customer, look, for what the car is and what you want to use it for, being able to be the lowest boost pressure you can ever run, being about 21 psi, I said, it's just a bit too much. And he was like, oh, to be fair, he says, I don't really know the brand of that actuator. I bought it off of eBay years ago. Do you think we should change it? And I said, I think we should. So he's gone to Motorsport Developments, and he has bought, well, I've put it down somewhere, I seem to have lost it. When I find it, I'll show you. Basically, he's bought a new actuator. There it is. So he's bought this new actuator, and this has got a base spring. It's designed for Cozzies and Escort turbos. It's got a base spring in it of 14 psi, I think it said in the instructions. So yeah, hopefully we'll fit this, hard plumb it in, and we'll be able to hold 14 psi boost, all being well. And if it does, then we'll see what power it makes. So yeah, I'm going to get this fitted and we'll crack on. Right, demonstration time. I'm going to try and do this with one hand. Don't know how well you can see it, so if I try and get this into shot, that's my boost gauge. If I turn the boost up, right, there we go. Rod ain't moving yet. That's 10 psi. It's a bar. Just started to move there. About 19 psi. By the time we're at 20, it's opened a bit more. And by about 25 psi, it's all the way up. So that If I let the air out by unscrewing the regulator. Yeah, look, 20 psi starts moving back in. By 19 it's in more, so that will probably run about 20 psi boost. It's unbranded, it's eBay, it's old. Right, turn my boost down. Let's try this one. I haven't tried this one yet. Here we go. Come on, right, we're making a bit of boost. It's not moving yet. Not moving. Hey, there we go. Yeah, look, 15 psi. It's moved loads. By the time we're at 18 psi, that's open even more. Fully open at 20. So, I'm going to guess this one is going to be a lot better. A lot better than that one anyway. Let's get this fitted. Let's run it up on the dyno. Let's give you what you want to see. Power runs and making power. I reckon this car will make a bar boost. I think it will probably make on my calibrated rollers 150 to 160 horsepower. Let's see. Little top tip I thought I'd show you. I don't know how well I can show you, but I'll give it a go. Right, if you look up there, you can see I've got the new actuator fitted, and through that gap there you can just about see the actuator arm. Don't know whether the camera will show it. There, it's not on, so I've adjusted it because you want it to look like a half moon when you look through that hole there. Oh, this is awful filming from me, I'm sorry. You want it to look like a half moon shape through there, so I've adjusted the rod length, got the wastegate penny pulled shut. Now what I see a lot of people doing is yanking this actuator with a pair of pliers trying to get that on. If you just connect your pressure gauge up, give it some boost like that, the arm comes out, you see. And now what I can do, and get my dinky little hands up there, just hook it on like that. See, it's all loose, all the bolts are loose on the wastegate, but look, I can slide that arm over there now, align it all, and then when I let the boost out by unscrewing it, see if I can film it a bit better. What am I looking at here? No idea. Right, you might just be able to see it as I let the air out. There you go. On, no fighting. Now I can tighten it all up. Tighten that nut up on the wastegate arm. Tighten up the 210 mils, then plumb it in. I don't know how much sense that made, but I'm sure you get the gist. Just put £30 worth of Shell's finest V-Power E5, none of this E10. Straight in the tank. Right. Screen's on its way down. Lights are still flashing as always. Don't worry, it'll get better once I'm in the car. He says with no great confidence. See, look, it's fine. Don't know what the fuss is about. Right, let me plonk yous up there. Oop, don't want to look down there. There you go. You can see me concentrate now. Right, nothing too exciting to happen at first. I'm going to plug my laptop in. I'm going to let it warm up. I'm going to put the extractors on. I'm going to dial it in, see how it goes. Just took it for a little drive around the yard. Drives absolutely fine. Well, to be fair, I took it for a drive around the yard before I fitted the actuator, and it drives lovely off boost, so yeah. Right, I ain't going to bore you. I'm going to crack on. So, I spoke to the customer. I said, look, you're making like 12, 10 PSI boost all the way to the limiter. The car's making standard power, 120 horsepower. I said, what do you want to do? He said, well, I'll be straight with you. I want more horsepower. Doesn't everyone? It's got no form of boost control on this, so the boost it makes is the boost it makes at the moment. However, his car does have one of these, bit old school, bit from the Escort Turbo era, should I say. This is a bleed valve. So what this does is you tee this into the wastegate line, and then when you adjust this, it bleeds air off away from the wastegate. So the turbo has to spool and make more boost to overcome the leak to open the wastegate. And obviously when you make more boost, you're making more boost, and that's how a bleed valve works. It's a bit ropey and it's a bit Chinesey, but I freed it off and it does make a bit more boost. So, well, it makes an air leak. Let's get this fitted and let's see what it does. He wants more horsepower. We will give him more horsepower. Right, some not so good news. Not terrible news, but this is just mapping 101. Let me talk you through it and I'll show you what's going on. It's going to be a bit crude and I'm going to record the screen, but you get the idea. So here we have the main fueling table with the login down the bottom. I had a muck around with his boost control. It had like a spring diaphragm in the T-piece to hold the wastegate shut till it makes boost. Really good idea. However, with that spring in there being a bit sticky and old, it was spiking to like 22 psi again. So I took it apart, took the ball bearing out, took the spring out, used it as a T-piece, fitted his bleed valve. Got really nice boost control. Well, as good as it's going to get on an Escort Turbo anyway with an actuator. So if we just look through this log, let me get you to the beginning and I will show you. So if we pay more attention to the little box down here, as I scroll through it, you will see the numbers change as I'm basically tapping my way through the log. So this is me doing a power run on the dyno. Makes about 17 psi, 16, 17 psi. You can see the target lambda is 0.77 lambda and actual lambda is nearly 0.78, which is absolutely fine. And that is at about 17 psi. So we're peaking about 17 psi. Being a standard Escort Turbo, as the run goes on, the boost drops off. As you can see, it just gets lower and lower, down to about 14, which is absolutely acceptable. However, fuel injector primary, so this is the amount of duty that the ECU is having to fire at the injectors, or the amount of time it has to hold them open to get the amount of fuel into the engine that we are trying to request. Now, we're at 98% duration, which basically means the fuel injectors are just stuck open. And when they're stuck open, as the revs climb, obviously the demand for fuel increases. The ECU tries to enter more fuel. We're at 100% duration. It is not ideal. Air fuel ratio is about 0.78, 0.79, and we're only at 13 psi. So at 13 psi, we're not getting enough fuel into the engine. It is only on beige injectors, so I wouldn't assume the beige injectors are too small. They should be fine, really. For, you know, we're only running 13 psi of boost. You can do that on the standard blue injectors with a CVH. But we're at 13 psi boost and we're at 0.8 lambda, and the injectors are at 104% duration, so they are like beyond open. They're like, the ECU is just trying everything to get more fuel in and it won't. So eventually you hit lean lambda trip, because the ECU is set up for that, to protect the engine for obvious reasons. So yeah, annoyingly I can't run any more than 13 psi boost, which makes about 137 horsepower. I'm not going to leave it at that, obviously, because you can't really run a fuel injector at 100% duration. It's not a good thing to do. You can for small bursts, but obviously that you've got no room for error then. So it ain't ideal, basically. I'm not going to say the fuel injectors are too small. I'm going to assume the fuel pump is probably knackered. It's got an EFI tank on it, Mark IV EFI tank, so it's not got the standard external fuel pump that most Mark IV Escort RS turbos have got. So I can't just poke my head under there and have a look. The fuel tank will have to come down and the fuel pump has to come out and blah blah blah. But obviously I'm getting paid to fit a MaxxECU and map it, which I've done. I'll have a chat with the customer. Obviously, if he wants me to continue, then I'll have to start pulling the tank out, replacing fuel pumps and things like that. But obviously the cost will go up. So I need to talk to him, see what he says, see where he wants to go for it. But yes, let me show you on the dyno graph how it looks. So you can see here the dyno logs boost, so we're peaking to 1.2 bar there, dropping right off to about 13 psi as the laptop says. See the air fuel ratio, 0.8 lambda there. It's always a bit leaner at the tailpipe, but you can see higher the revs go, the leaner it gets, and we just can't get any more fuel into it. Being that it's an 8 valve CVH and it's a 40-year-old engine now, I don't really want to run this on the brink of as much power as we can get out by leaning it right off. I want to keep it happy and I want to keep it safe. And unfortunately, I'm not going to lean it any more out. I know we're at very low boost, so I probably could lean it out a little bit more, but it's an old engine, it's an unknown history. I don't want to push it to its limits. So we are going to leave it as that. Nice looking graph though, nice and smooth. Smooth torque, smooth horsepower. What does that actually make? Let's have a look. You alright, Ash?
I'm alright, sir.
Ollie's son, look. Don't get to see him often. So it makes, let's open that last graph. There you go. 137 horsepower, 158 foot-pound of torque. Really nice little graph. But yeah, as said, can't get any fuel into the engine. 0.8 lambda is there, so just below that line, as you can see, we're going just over it. So yeah, gonna have to call it a day.
Left my tools here.
Yeah.
And I come here Saturday and I was like, yeah, I've got to take my tools. Halfway home I was like, I ain't got my tools. Come back here Sunday.
Right, so we're going to see if the fuel pump is giving up. We've fitted a fuel pressure gauge, primed it, it's bang on 3 bar, which is about right because the cap ain't been popped out the regulator. So that's absolutely as you'd want. So what would happen is when it's running, you get a vacuum on here, fuel pressure will drop slightly to 2.5 bar. On boost or 100 kPa, it should read 3 bar, and as the boost rises to 13 psi, it should be a 1-to-1 regulator. So what should happen is 3 bar plus 13 psi should go to about 60 psi or just over 4 bar. If it drops off during the run, when it runs lean, we know the fuel pump's not keeping up. Ollie's going to film it on his phone, aren't you? And then we can watch the footage back. So yeah, let's crack on. Yeah? GoPro's like really blurry up close.
Yeah, we could just stick it in.
Picture. So it rose, did it? Can we get this with sound?
Probably.
No, it's dropping off.
Oh, I just see it go up.
Yeah,
but
no,
I
it
didn't
needs to go up
actually-
higher than that.
Didn't actually.
Well, that's not ideal. So, guess what ended up happening? We took the fuel tank out, spoke to the customer, told him he had no fuel pressure. We've checked that on the dyno, it's not rising the fuel pressure as it should be. He was like, I threw that fuel pump in on a bit of a whim because it died when it was at the body shop, so we had to quickly fit it. So I don't actually know the history on that fuel pump. I was like, fantastic. So he's ordered a new pump and he's getting it sent to me and we're going to get it fitted. We did pull the pump out and the sender. A lot of grit in the bottom of there. Don't know how well you can see it. Oh, look at that. Someone's calling me. Customer. So there's a lot of grit in the bottom of that, which I'm not too happy about. And this type of pump shouldn't be fitted with a bit of hose in tank. So I think this was all a bit to cause with it because that pipe shouldn't be submerged in fuel either. I've learnt that in the past. So we're going to throw a new pump in. We're going to throw a new little bit of pipe with it that comes with all the kit. And hopefully we can gain some fuel pressure. Then maybe put a little bit more boost through it for him. So yeah, catch you next time. Good morning. It has been a good couple of weeks since that last shot you've probably just watched. Obviously I'm back down the unit, a lot going on. Turn this on. So what's been happening with the Escort? We put a new fuel pump in it, loads of fuel pressure now, much better. We popped the cap off the fuel pressure regulator, and we bumped the base fuel pressure from, it's about 2.8 bar. We've bumped it up to 3.5 bar because the injectors would be quite happy at that. So gives us a bit more of a margin, like safety margin of fuel pressure and stuff like that. However, it's not been plain easy sailing. So as you've probably watched in the start of this video, I had problems with the car giving it all the boost, and the actuator that was on it was like banging past 22 psi, which is way too much. So obviously we swapped the actuator out for an MSD one, which was rated from, or tested from 14 psi to 30 psi. So I was like, yeah, spot on, that'll do the job. However, I've fitted that actuator, as you know. I've set the actuator rod length up as it should be set up. And what we're doing is we're getting a boost spike, which is going to happen on a small little turbo like this. It's very old technology nowadays anyway. We're getting a bit of a boost spike. The boost holds nicely, but the car won't make much past 140, 150 horsepower. But I need to turn the boost up a bit more to try and stabilise it. So I fitted the customer's bleed valve that was already on the car, and I ended up adjusting that all the way to the max till it wouldn't bleed any more boost into it. So I pulled the pipe off and just left it as a T-piece, like in line with the actuator, and that gave me about 1.2 bar, and that's how it's left at the moment. Last couple of weeks been really busy, not been able to get round to it. So today we're back on it. Again, sorry about the lights. I'll try and stay still, although it seems like it's making no difference whatsoever. So the plan today is to pull the fan forward. Got to get my head under there. I'm going to tighten the actuator a little bit more, and then I have got a MaxxECU MAC valve. Well, it's not a MaxxECU MAC valve, but it's from MaxxECU, like a boost control solenoid. So the plan today is to retighten the actuator a little bit more. I'm going to fit an electronic boost control valve so the ECU can control the boost. I'm going to try and dial in a bit more boost, but we need to get it to, if we can get to about 18, 19 psi, whatever it makes at that boost pressure, I think that would be the number that we need to be at. Any more than that, you know, on an Escort T3, once you start running, you know, people back in the day used to be like, yeah, run 22, 23, 24 psi. These turbos just make more heat at that boost level than actual usable air. So I reckon if I can get to about 18 psi, it should be closer to 190, 200 horsepower, and then everyone should be happy, including me, more so including the customer. So yeah, let's just crack on, shall we? Right, so I've been doing some playing and I've adjusted the actuator. It now peaks to a bar boost. Here's boost here. Peaking to a bar boost, but then it's dropping right off down to about 10 psi towards the limiter. So it makes peak power sort of around peak torque here, peak power here. So if you look where it's making peak horsepower and peak torque, we're only at 10 psi boost, and that is standard pressure. Hence it only makes 132 horsepower. So what I'm going to try and do now, I'm going to try and fit electronic boost control, because it's peaking a bar, so you can see where I've tightened the actuator up, it is making a little bit more peak boost, and it is holding it slightly better across the rev range. Not as much as I'd like, to be fair, but it's always a gamble with these internal wastegates. You can't really get a massive stable amount of boost. I always prefer external gate. But anyway, peaking a bar, falling off to 10 psi. I'm going to fit electronic boost control, and I'm going to try and get it to hold a bar. And if I can get it to hold a bar to the limiter, we'll see how it does then. And if it does, we'll then adjust the boost control as a whole to put more boost into it. Hopefully make a bit more power, because that's not good. Can't give it back with that, can I? He will not be happy. Although 147 foot-pound of torque, not bad. Right, let's crack on. Look who turned up, eh? What time do you call this?
Right.
Out gallivanting, weren't you?
Whose fault was that?
I was with him. We were both gallivanting. Well, I didn't drink. I was a good boy.
You were sensible.
I was, for a change. What you doing?
Putting it ready.
Nice.
Ready, whatever ready
Fixing
is.
a little budget skid car, eh? Anyway, let's keep on point. Fitted a MAC valve. Not plumbed it in properly yet. I will show you. It is here. So, boost pressure into 3, actuator on 2, vent on 1. I'm going to mount it. Oh, so what I did, because it's a Gen 2 ZTEC loom, where it says VVT, it's just a GPO and 12 volts on the ignition. So I've just repinned the plug, pinned it up for a MAC valve, tested it by clicking on the output. It clicks, so I know I've wired it up right. I'm going to mount that down there somewhere, get it plumbed in. So the aim of the game is, I want to try and get it to hold a flat boost. So where it peaks to 15 and then drops off, I'm gonna say 4 grand, or maybe between 3.5, 4 grand, probably more 4 grand. I'm gonna ramp a load of duty into the Mac valve. So the aim of the game now is to try and get it to hold a bar and then see what sort of power that gives us. So if I can hold 18 PSI where it makes peak power and obviously where it makes peak torque, I think it should make a lot closer to 190 horsepower. That's the how it's working out in my head anyway, so we'll just see how it pans out. Let's crack on. Okay, so Mac valve is down there, you can't see it. It's plumbed in, trust me. Put little cable ties around the vac pipes, just so they don't pop off, because I'm good like that. Been doing some configuring, so what I've done, going back to this graph again, as you can see, makes a bar, falls off really fast, holds like 10 PSI to the limiter. From 4,000, I've put 30% duty cycle into the boost control valve on the Mac valve. So what does that mean? Duty cycle is a very, very easy thing to understand. If you're at 30% duty cycle, that means it's going to be pulsing 30% of the time. If you're at 50% duty cycle, that means it'll be on half the time, off the other half of the time. The higher the duty, the more it pulses the valve. The more it pulses the valve, the bigger air leak it bleeds away from the actuator, the more boost you have to make to overcome the leak to open the actuator. So if you go into output functions, output configure, yep, hey, right, output configure, and then GPO out 3 is now boost solenoid closed loop. You can test it. When you click test, it clicks. I know you won't pick that up on the camera, but trust me, it does work. Now I've assigned boost control, it now appears in the menu. So closed loop boost control, we're going to tune the bass tuning. It was in closed loop like that, but I've set it back to open loop bass tuning only. So as you can see, 4,000, I've gone really, really crude. All I've done is just shove 30% duty past 4,000 RPM. So we're going to do a power run, and we're going to see how the boost curve turns out. See if it makes it better, see if it makes it worse. Hopefully it'll make it better. Need to start it up, let it warm up, put the extractors on, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, let's crack on with that. Full throttle, fire in the hole. I think that went a little bit lean, of course it did. Good old MaxxECU caught it though, didn't it? That's all she wrote. So, I know the internet is an amazing place and everyone can see what everyone else has done on the internet, so it means their car should do the same. But if you looky here, so about there, I would say. So if you look here at 5,500 RPM, my Lamba is 0.805, or if you want to work in AFR, it's about 12 AFR. So there's no safety margin there. We are running 16.6 PSI of boost because I had to turn it down. Look at the fuel duty, look, Them injectors, beige injectors, 110% duty. They are more than open. In fact, these, you cannot open them any more than that. The car makes 156 horsepower and 165 foot-pound of torque. Let me show you something else. That one. So, let me clear the newest ones there. So, not that one, maybe that one. So look, at this point, the car actually made nearly 170 horsepower and 175 foot-pounds of torque. See it running lean. Right, fueling's nice, coming down there, should just follow just above that, be spot on. And then, oh, MaxxECU said, no mate, cut it. When it cut it, we was at 1.3 bar of boost. So 1.3 bar of boost, we made nearly 170 horsepower and 175 foot-pound of torque. In fact, if it revved a bit more, it probably would have made a little bit more. Look, it was coming up. These fuel injectors, these beige injectors, are not big enough. Not big enough for 200 horsepower, I just don't think. I can't see it, not on my dyno anyway. But let me get some graphs up, because so that was this morning, yeah, that one, and so no, that's the run that cut short, don't want that one. Let's try that one. Yeah, it looks a lot better, to be fair. I think in closed loop it will be a lot more stable. So look, here's the boost where I said it was making a bar. Once it made a bar, it would then drop off down to 10 psi. Now we make the boost, we hold the boost pretty damn well, I'd say. Creeps up to the limiter, to be fair, creeps up to like 1.3 bar, which is fine. When it makes 1.3 bar, it makes a happy 156 horsepower, 165 foot-pound of torque. So I'm going to assume, after what we see in the fuel tank, with all the rust that was in there and stuff like that, and all the grit in the fuel pump, I wonder if these injectors are a little bit blocked. So I'm probably going to stop here, have a chat with the customer and see what he wants to do. But boost control works very, very well. Very well. Let me ring the customer. It's a never-ending game, chasing power, as you can see. It's not just throw it on the dyno, turn the boost up and away you go. It never works like that. It's always tweaking. He wants 190 horsepower. I think if we can get some fuel into the engine, might be able to get him there. It's not with these injectors. Beige injectors are just not doing it. What else can I do? I don't know. So, this is where we've finished up for today. We're holding about 1.3 bar, 1.2. No, I dropped it down. It holds 1.2, just over 1.2 bar, but it holds it nice. Closed loop lambda control. Makes about 160 horsepower. And 174 foot-pounds of torque. Rang the customer. Said to him, look, your injectors are at like 99% duration. They will not flow any more fuel into your engine. We are targeting a very moderate air-fuel ratio, or lambda, whatever you want to work on. So there's no more room for any more boost, in my opinion. And he was like, okay, fine. And I thought you might say, well, we'll leave it at that. I'll come get the car. In fact, he said, so what's the next step? And I said, well, you need some bigger injectors. You forget the beige injectors, which was the common upgrade, which this is running. They're only 250 cc, so they don't flow a lot of fuel at the best of time anyway. I do have in stock some Bosch 580 cc motorsport injectors. I said if you want to upgrade to them, you can, because obviously they're nearly double the size, so that will give you more than enough headroom. They're a more modern injector, so they've got a better spray pattern, so the whole drivability of the vehicle improves. And he was like, yeah, go on then, fit them. So I was like, okay, fair enough. So that's what's next. Calling it a day for now. This project's been here for a good couple of weeks now. We've been battling with this on and off, but we're finally getting there. We're on the road to success, I think. We were only at about 65% duty on the boost control valve, and that's when it was making 1.3 bar, but it was just a little bit lean. I didn't like that. I couldn't get any more fuel in it at 1.3 bar. So I do think with the bigger injectors we're going to fit, the Bosch Motorsport ones that I can supply and sell, I think we might, if we can get like 18, 19 PSI of boost, whatever it makes at that, it's just going to have to stay there. I don't like that pace interwarmer either. Them twin pass pace intercoolers are horrendous. They were horrendous back in the day, and they're still horrendous now. What it needs is a nice big single pass intercooler, a bit like what I've got on my van. So on my van, we have a Fiesta Turbo single pass AirTech intercooler, and that works the tits. That is a really good intercooler. So yeah, see you in a minute. And just like that, we're back. It's like 2 weeks later, and I'll be honest, didn't really film too much. Let me just fill you into what I've done. So we fitted the bigger injectors, we binned off the beige ones. Can't see them, of course. Bosch Motorsport injectors are fitted, 580, 590cc. I dialed in the boost control, we mucked about with it. I set 2-stage boost control because he wanted 2 maps. And we're done, mate. So it now makes a stonking 196 horsepower and 217 foot-pounds of torque in high boost. And in low boost, obviously you can see it makes 170 horsepower and 194 foot-pounds of torque. I did a little test of this pace intercooler. Obviously the MaxxECU map sensor is connected to the inlet manifold, and so I used the map sensor off the dyno, and I connected that rather to the inlet manifold where I normally connect it. I connected it to the outlet on the compressor cover, done a power run, and at 24-25 psi of boost pressure coming out the turbo and into the intercooler, we're only actually absorbing about 20 psi. So that's like a 4 or 5 psi pressure drop across the twin pass cooler. I told the customer this. I said, look, you're making the numbers now. You're at nearly 200 horsepower. I says this turbo is having this absolute neck ringed out of it. I said this intercooler is no good. It's choking it like mad. And he agreed. He said, okay, fair enough. We'll leave it at that. Well, actually, no, he opted for a bigger intercooler, but we're not going to do that just yet. You can take the car back. So yeah, very long-winded video. I apologise. Hope you liked it. Like, share, subscribe. Cheers, guys.